travelers, going miles through mud and muck.
Hey Jean Luc, how's it going?
Pretty good, Aaron.
All right, so we got a Ghost Recon Wildlands trailer that dropped today, and we're going to go over some of the things that you may have missed. Now, for people who are just getting caught up, Ghost Recon Wildlands is a supposedly open-world co-op shooter from Ubisoft. It seems to be very much in the vein of, say, Far Cry meets Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and a lot of the mechanics in the game, especially from this trailer, seem to show combined arms. So the first thing they show here is a guy sniping.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that he is covering his co-op buddies, that you kind of using the terrain to your advantage. I can have a guy get up on high and kind of like scope everything out while my buddies are kind of like getting in up close.
Here we actually do see buggies with chain guns mounted on the top. So, I think to a certain extent, at least you will be able to go in with vehicles, guns blazing. And then I think you'll have the players who want to do the very quiet stealth runs, such as this scene here where they're basically shown sneaking in and putting C4 on a drug stash.
So here we see a couple guys jumping out of the helicopter with some parachutes, again, very stealthy. And something I'm curious about is multiplayer-wise, how does this work? Is that a player driving the helicopter? Is that an NPC?
So here we see them assaulting what looks like a much larger outpost. So again, I'm wondering if this isn't an instance or if this is in the open world itself. The scene here with the drone's pretty cool. That drone's straight out of Ghost Recon Future Soldier. It was used in Future Soldier to mark targets and then synchronize kills with a countdown. This scene is kind of interesting because here we see a stealth takedown as players invade this compound, but then later on in the footage, we see them take down two guards standing right in front of them. So I wonder if there's a stealth mechanic versus a gain their trust and then double cross them mechanic in this game. They show a couple of shots in this compound. One, I see a radio tower, which looks a lot like Just Cause, and I'm gonna probably throw this out there, but you can probably drop it. In the following scene, we actually see an alarm tower from Far Cry, which is a very Ubisoft thing to do. Here we got a special operations rib boat, which are commonly used in river and shore operations. But I think all they're trying to show here is that throughout this trailer, you see them flying in helicopters, you see them driving in boats, you see them on motorcycles and dune buggies. So I think they're just trying to show you that you will have a Just Cause level of freedom to roam the map.
Yeah, so we're showing a lot of vehicles sort of like driving away, chase sequences, and I wonder if is there going to be an emphasis on, okay, you blew up the drugs, now you have to flee and sort of like an escape sequence,
which could be a lot of fun if you get chased and if you go loud and then you have to get away and you're getting chased by the cartels. Again, a lot of the fun from this game I think will come from doing it with your friends and having the co-op ability.
And something we haven't mentioned yet is that they've shown a really good variety of locations in this trailer. I don't know if it's one map or if it's multiple maps, like Metal Gear Solid 5, where maybe you're going to different locations.
We see a number of guns in this trailer too. So here you can see an ACR assault rifle, which is basically an assault rifle that was designed to swap out barrels and chamber different rounds. You could customize it for the range, which actually fits into the Ghost Recon weapon customization theme that a lot of these games have. So I'm assuming this is one of those guns you can probably swap out in the field. This is clearly not stealth. They're actually facing these two guys and talking to them. So this seems like one of those moments in the game where you might be able to gain a gang's trust and then double cross them.
They have a scene of them walking in a village with civilians, and I think that could potentially be interesting because I think of games like Far Cry that have these open landscapes, but every person you encounter in those games is an enemy. And so the idea of, oh no, you actually have these locations with NPCs and civilians and, making sure they're not involved in a firefight could potentially be interesting.
Whether you might have to get the locals' trust or win over the locals, it's a mechanic of guerrilla warfare. It'd be interesting to see if it's translated into Ghost Recon Wildlands itself. This is my favorite shot of this entire trailer just because of the Cobra helicopter. I'm really curious at this stage if what this shot is implying is that players can come in on vehicles. All four, I'm assuming it's 4 players, can all come in on vehicles. So I can actually have somebody flying a helicopter, somebody driving on a motorcycle, and somebody in a buggy. Because that would be really interesting if this game turned into a combined arms style game where you could actually go at objectives with a combination of vehicles and snipers and, people on the ground shooting. Just in terms of gameplay, that's very exciting to me.
That leaves me worried about if I'm playing single player, how much of this cool stuff do I actually get to do? Because it's like, well, I'm by myself, so I can't drive all these vehicles at once. You know, like, is it still going to have like that cool impact to it? But then also, presumably it'll have matchmaking. Is that something I'm going to want to do if I have these random people in my group? Like, can we effectively actually coordinate a strategy, or is it going to just sort of be like mass chaos? And like, well, we technically did it, but, you know, like the guy just drove the helicopter into the ground and it exploded, and then like I guess I started shooting and it kind of worked out.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, the question is how GTA is this world, or how like instanced and linear is it? Because you can still have an open world, but then you just lock players into certain areas and limit what they can do. Again, like I think the big question is how much freedom do you have? According to this trailer, it seems like a lot, but again, this is an in-engine trailer, which doesn't necessarily mean these are the things that you can do as players. And we don't know which one of these are actually cutscenes.
A lot of these scenes in the trailer have a very cinematic look, which makes you question, is that a scene where I'm actually escaping in a dune buggy, or is that like a cutscene? You just kind of don't know.
All right, closing thoughts, Jean Luc?
I think visually, I mean, the trailer looks amazing. Just like graphically, I think it looks great. And I'm very excited to see exactly what type of open world it is. You know, Ubisoft, they have a formula with their open world, and, you know, they've been showing like the civilian stuff, the emphasis on vehicles. They have the potential for this to be more unique than, you know, Far Cry could stand out, but can't really say until they actually show more of the game, which I assume they will at E3.
At the end of the day, when you put combined arms co-op together in an open world, I'm definitely in. I'm pretty excited for the potential of this game, and yeah, we'll see at E3 what it is as a player that you can actually do. All right, thanks, Jean Luc.
Yeah, thanks.
We are ghosts, and we do not exist.